Let's start by downloading the necessary tools. So first you'll need the mixed reality feature tool. Download the executable. Now let's go to Unity. And install Unity. Okay, let's go to installs and get the 2022 long-term support version. Currently, that's the latest version supported by the MRTK3. We'll also need the Universal Windows Platform build. And I also hit the Windows build support, but I don't think we necessarily need it. And also the Visual Studio is important. Okay, let's set up the Visual Studio. There are some workloads you need, and those are the game development with Unity and game development with C++, and also WinUI application development with the additional Universal Windows Platform and the C++ version 143. At the bottom you see USB device connectivity. Install that if you have plans to connect with a wire to your HoloLens. I'm going wireless, so I'm not installing that. You can just close out of the Visual Studio. Okay, now create a new project with a 3D template and select the location. Once the project has loaded in completely, we can get started with the mixed reality tool. Okay, let's click start. Select the project. And I'm selecting MRTK3, all of them, as well as the OpenXR. You should be careful selecting other features because they might not work with MRTK3. Most of them are older versions for the MRTK2, so you should probably look into what you're enabling, and if it doesn't work, disable it. Okay, now let's enable some project settings. Let's go to the Windows symbol, and under XR plugin management, enable OpenXR, as well as the Microsoft HoloLens feature group. And then under MRTK3, let's assign a profile. Okay, let's set up the basics, which will allow us to use the HoloLens with the project. For that we need the MRTK XR rig. We'll also need the MRTK input setting simulator. And let's delete the main camera because the XR rig contains its own camera and controllers. And to have something to play with once the project loads, let's create a 3D object and assign a component. Let's add the object manipulator, which will allow us to move it around and resize it. Let's build. Select the universal Windows platform. And by now you should turn on your HoloLens. I'm using Holo remoting to find the IP address. Yeah, I've also included this bit because it's easier to see. So the HoloLens uses an ARM64 architecture. Everything else can stay default. You'll also need to enable development build. And the deep profiling support. The first time you build, you have to create the folder. And it failed. So let's take a look at why it failed. So I have some errors and some failures. Most of the errors are easy enough to fix. There should be a button in the project settings which will allow us to automatically fix them all. It's under project validation. And it fixed most of them, so that's good enough. Let's try to build it again. It still failed, but this time with fewer errors. But let's look at this one. It says, could not find the SDK Windows Mobile. Sometimes Unity automatically creates this SDK. On my desktop it did not, however on my laptop it did, so let's remove that by going into build, the project name, and the project name .vcxproj, and in the Solution Explorer the project might be loaded, and if not, it looks like this. You can just reload it. Then you can go to References and you find the Windows Mobile and remove it. Now the project should be able to find the correct SDK. So let's try again. This is from the HoloLens perspective, and this time it worked.